ever seen the retro side of things, well, this black is beautiful. Oh, I'm all pang. This is White's Checkbox, and we're going to be looking at Wonder Woman 84 today. And we're going to be looking at the plot, the scenes, the transitions, the things that worked for us and the things that didn't work for us. And if you have already seen this movie, absolutely, absolutely perfect. All you have to do is tell us what you think. Tell us if you agree on, not just us, me. If you agree with one of the things I said, and if there are other things you notice that maybe I had skipped out. But if you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to go see it. I think it's a beautiful movie, but also I think it's going to be a spoiler alert for you when I tell you some of the things I noticed and some of the things that I didn't like, but most importantly, some of the things that I liked. There are a few things to look out for when making a movie. There is, your audience, because you never know who is really watching. Somebody like me, I watch a movie to get the entire sense of it, the story, the action, the lines, everything. All my boxes just have to be ticked. So in that case, I watch it with my heart and my soul, and of course, my body, which are my eyes and my ears. So for Wonder Woman 84, I think Gal Gadot did a good job. I think Patty Jenkins did a good job, and it's thumbs up for me. But there are some areas that I didn't quite get, so we are going to get to that at the end of the video. So you need to watch to the very end. If this is your first time in White's Checkbox, I suggest you subscribe, like, share, and make sure to comment. We want to hear everything you have to say. If you didn't see Wonder Woman that was shot in 2017 or that came to the cinemas in 2017, maybe you should see it. Maybe it would give you a little bit of understanding of what's going on in Wonder Woman 84, so you better understand why Chris Pine, who is Trevor, had to, come back to life. Well, you also understand how the fighting sequence happened and, all of those things. It just gives you a better insight to what Wonder Woman 84 has to offer. Now, the first scene of Wonder Woman 84 opens where Lily Aspel is blowing my mind. Literally, that girl is a 100% go-to for me. Her scene was super amazing. I like the fact that even as a queen's daughter, she was able to do her stunts and still make a mistake. She's first a child, So it's pretty much expected. And I like the fact that they didn't let her win. They didn't let her, take the shortcut and ruin everything pretty much for the team. Even though she started out very well. And she got to learn a very valuable lesson where you have to own up to yourself. You need to be truthful, and you can never take shortcuts. Because you never know what the shortcuts are going to do for you. You never know how bad shortcuts could just be. It's just, pretty much principle. And I like that they were able to put that in from the word go, because in that moment it laid down the premise for the rest of the movie, where the movie was virtually centered on the wishing stone. Now, this stone, which was done by Delos, a Greek god that is the god of trickery and lies, but of course the stone was being painted as a wishing stone, so you pretty much get what you wish for. But there is also the saying that says, be careful what you wish for. But I think we never really pay attention to the other part. We just make our wishes. We never know what we are losing when we are making those wishes. And in this case, the people that made the different wishes did not know what they were losing while they wanted what they wanted. So Gal Gadot made a wish, which is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman made a wish. Barbara Minerva. There she has a name, but eventually she became a cheetah in the movie, but she's actually Kristen Wiig. She also made a wish. Pedro Pascal also made a wish, but his wish was a bit more captivating. He wanted to become the stone. And of course, Chris Pine came back to life, so we're going to find out about that, won't we? Yes, we will. Okay. Then we have Kristen Wiig, who is Barbara. Let's just call her Barbara. Barbara comes into the scene being really smart, but also really, really clumsy. Nobody notices her. She's been working there for some time, but nobody has never really known about her. She actually has quite a number of degrees where she knows what she's all about, but nobody really seems to care. The only person that actually seems to want to talk with her, wants to be close to her rather, is Gal, the Wonder Woman. And at some point you want to be like that person, someone that is beautiful, poised, strong. You just want to have that kind of composure that is going to set you apart in a crowd. And I think it's an honest wish, because I think a lot of us want to make that wish and want it to come true. And yes, Barbara did go for that wish, but I think she just made the wish with the wrong stone, or at the wrong place. Anyway, Pedro, on the other hand, who is playing Maxwell, is supposed to be an oil mogul who lost his investments and is now a con man and needs to get back up there. And he is desperate and he begins to search for the wishing stone. He eventually finds out that Barbara is in possession of it, and of course he goes to her office to go check it out and get the stone. And of course he gets all flirty and all of that, and eventually gets the stone. But before we get to this part, there is a part where Wonder Woman is already holding the stone, and she makes a wish, a very silent wish, which I like, where the hair blows back. Now that is another thing. Hair blowing back just gives us the sense that a wish has happened, and that was the first time I caught it. The very first time Wonder Woman made the wish, her hair just blew back just a little bit, and before you know, it was a trend. I believe it shouldn't be that obvious. From me though, I believe it shouldn't be that obvious. It should be a bit more subtle. The audience shouldn't see it coming. I don't know. It's just my thought, but tell me what you think. Okay? Then she goes to this amazing ball, which is you're supposed to have an invite to the ball. You're supposed to look sophisticated and top notch, which everybody does except Trevor. Trevor is being played by Chris Pine, who was in Wonder Woman, that was in the cinemas in 2017, and he comes back to life. And guess how he came back to life? Wonder Woman, our beautiful lady, had wished him back to life. He used to be her soulmate lover back then. Oh my god! Don't mind me. But yes, she had fallen so deeply in love with him, and she couldn't, think of anything better in this life than to just be with him again. So she wished for him. But that particular part where it's an event, and the only way you are able to tell us he was able to come into the place by saying, I went to your house and eventually was able to find you here, I think that doesn't quite add up for me, because it just doesn't. It really, I'm sorry guys. It really just doesn't add up for me, because there is that part where you're supposed to get the invite. So how did he get an invite to be in there? How did that happen? I don't see it. I don't just see it, right? So in that regard, they should have done it better. They really should have done it better. They should have created a scene where he was able to get an IV, or he came through the back door, or he became a waiter to get in, or he snuck behind someone to get in. That space, that gap was quite there. That transitioning didn't quite do it for me. However, I love the fact that he came in another person's body. So it's not like he broke out of a coffin, or there was a reverse in time where his body collected back in midair and dropped and formed him, and he was like, where am I? But then it's good that he came back in another person's body, and it was only Gal that could recognize him, because there was that tiny bit of effect somewhere just before that happened, after her wish, where the watch he gave to her in the previous Wonder Woman shifted. So it's like there was a twist in time, but then we still need that gap to be covered. Okay, all right. And moving forward, I like where there was the introduction of the old warrior, and Wonder Woman eventually got the suit. But before we get to that, everybody seemed to eventually get their wish. But the trick side to this story is that whatever you wish for, something is being taken from you. For Barbara, she became a cheetah because, I mean, she pretty much wished to be an apex predator, but then she lost her humanity. She lost her warmth. She lost her sense of being able to feel for people. And she just became cold and ruthless. She didn't care. For the oil mogul, he pretty much lost his life form, right? And his cells and body started degenerating. You can pretty much see blood from his nose, from his ears, his eyes are bloodshot. But then, how do you get him to get all the way to the communication center? How does he get all the way there? And this is towards the end of the movie. How does he get all the way there and then leave his son? Let's put it this way. At the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, it is shown that Pedro has already gone to a communication center where he's able to communicate to the whole world. People can touch him, or at least feel his touch, feel his essence. That's why he's able to tell people, tell me what you wish for, and it is done. But he used a chopper. He didn't disappear. He used the chopper. But after Gal had, put the truth rope, that's what I call it, the truth rope on him, and he eventually came to his sense and denounced his wish. By this time, his son is somewhere in Washington. How did they meet each other? He is coming out from a building, and his son, who is Alistair, was on the main road at first, or was on the express at first, and then is coming out of the bushes to meet him. How did that happen? That particular part does not do it for me at all. So you see, that gap right there just makes me wonder what happened here. Really, what happened? But then, like I said, it's an amazing movie in general, because again, you always have to tell the truth. You can't have shortcuts, and you have to do it in the simplest of ways. You don't always have to have it all figured out at the time you want it. Sometimes these things take time, and that's all. That's the best I can tell you. So the blend into the body worked out for me. Gal's fashion sense, oh, beautiful. I mean, did you see her when she went for that ball? That dress, I am definitely going to make it with my thick body and find out how it's going to look like on me. And also when she and Trevor, or Chris Pine, were trying to figure out what he was going to wear, and she eventually came up with this, kick-ass look. It was really, really beautiful. But another thing that, what I said, did it for me, and made me a bit of emotion, was when she had to denounce her wish and then regain all her powers just so that she can fight the cheetah. I think it was beautiful, but in general, I think it's a movie worth seeing, and you'll enjoy it to a greater extent. I'm going to give this movie a, what percentage? Okay, I'll just give it a 70 to 75%, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the different roles. Let me know what you think about the characters and all of that. But another thing before we go, the lady that came up at the end of the movie, what exactly were they trying to show us? Like, she acted the movie before, or she is still alive because I think she used to act in the Wonder Woman series back then, So, anyway, let me know what you think. I think I have done my part, and justice has been served. Thank you very much. Till I see you again on White's Checkbox, please, please, please enjoy the movie. Get your tickets if you haven't. Eventually, I'm sure we'll be able to download it and see it and share it with family, share it with friends. And always be sure to try not to take shortcuts. You never know what you get. Be sure to know that it's not just the destination that matters, but the journey does as well. All right, guys. Thank you for being with us today, and see you next time when we get to check things off together. Okay, this is White, and White's out.